Hi, welcome to our first episode of Nerdalism. This is our first interview. I am Veronica, your nerdalist, and we are joined by Christie Shinn, who is the author of Demon Bitch and also the president of CAPS. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, how's it going?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk a little bit about. In fact, I think we should probably start out with talking about CAPS.
Mm.
You're the president. Can you tell us what CAPS is?
Well, it's called Comic Art Professional Society. It was founded in '77 by Sergio Aragonés, and if you don't know who he is, or he's done Gru, and he's actually cartooned for Mad for a long time, and a couple of other writers. I'm trying to remember. I'm kind of shitty with names, which I apologize. But about Caps, so what it is, it was June 1977. It's Don Rico and writer Mark Evanier. So they started it. It was a bunch of cartoon guys like hanging out, and then they would trade shop, talk shop, do workshops, do charity things. It evolved more and more from there. So what it does is that it involves people with cartoon arts, either sequential and non-sequential, lettering, writing, scripting, like things to do with comics in general.
And what does your role as the president entail?
Well, the person as president, I guess I'm supposed to help run stuff, so I guess that's part of it. But I mean, for me, I took it as kind of a unique opportunity to do a vision because I'd been a member of CAPS for about the last few years, and I felt that we could do more with the organization. But I didn't know, like, the last couple of years dormant because of COVID, and nobody should have dealt with that, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we're coming out of COVID, and I decided to throw my hat into the ring because I said, okay, we're going out. So we really need to come out strong as possible if we can, per restrictions and regulations, whatever. But let's go build a vision where it's more of an incentive to join and actually build a membership. So initially, this was supposed to be just an LA based organization. That's what it was. And then I wanted to but then as people moved out of LA or moved out of California, I didn't see that as practical anymore. So I mean, it's not that they weren't able to join or whatever, but I felt that, probably what would be better is that if we moved, like, we added more incentives and more benefits that were immediate. Like, now there's more need for independent legal. Now there's more need for independent distro and all this other stuff and a network and everything. So what I wanted to do is that somehow grow this to not only from, LA locally to California, but domestically and internationally eventually as an organization. So that's been one of my ambitious steps. But I've also wanted to go ahead and kind of actually like add more and more where it would benefit the community, where the community would be growing bigger. So like if you're in France here and blah, 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 these are our members here and everything. So it would be a good way to, one of the selling points of CAPS as of right now, and again, I'm adding more to it, is adding the social media platform where we will retweet your things. We will broadcast your event and where you're going to be if you're a member. But I'm going to add more member benefits. I mean, there's the networking. There's a lot of old and new guard at CAPS, which is great because then you get to learn from the old and the new. But I do know that the landscape's changing. We've got people that do Kickstarters and things like that and everything.
So what are some of the other benefits other than promotion?
Well, right now, it's something that I'm working on. I kind of don't want to get into it until it's more finalized, but it will probably include more of helping the indie creator than the published creator. Now, again, it does not mean that the published creator will not get any benefits, but one of the other things I wanted to pour it into may help both indie and published, as well as, mostly indie that I can see. But we're working that out right now.
So, what would you say is more heavy for membership, the indie or the published?
See, it's 50-50 because there's a lot of writers, there's a lot of people that work for the big companies, but then there's a lot of people that work for the smaller that work for their own selves. I work for my own self for the present moment. So, but you need representation, you need a way to distribute your comic, you need a way to get out there. So, when we put out the conventions, like right now we have QCon, and people can participate in QCon. It's the first gay convention. Like QCon is the first version of QCon out there now. As far as I know, like you do not have to be gay to table there. I'm going to be there, and you don't need, and they need volunteers. So that's up. That's going to be up, I think, with some of the social media, but you don't need to be gay to volunteer as well. Like it's all inclusive, all cool on that.
So allies and gays alike.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just like, why don't you just do it? You know, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun event. And I think it's a family friendly event. So, let's keep that in mind. I mean, I'm doing Demon Bitch, which is fine, but, like it's not obviously like a lot of the other events where, Folsom Street Fair, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I'm assuming that you would keep it family friendly, even though it's a little uh, more graphic novel, shall we say?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
But I've been to the Folsom Street Fair. Like I said, it's not Folsom Street level fair, but there's a lot more family friendly pride events and pride things, which I think that's good. So it's like it more or less like, kind of spreads the message, but it's not like, oh, leather and stuff like that might be a bit much for kids to take in. But I'm not saying that that was all it was, but you get what I mean. That was like initially when you knew of pride events, that's kind of what it was. But
yeah,
now it's kind of graduating like, okay, we are kind of explicitly doing family friendly, just so we have it. It's good. Great.
because we've all been to those pride events with the assless chaps and the.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, whoa, like I've actually got my butt touched by a drag queen, and that surprised me. But I guess in that sphere, like that's how they show that they like each other is like, I'll touch your butt, I'll touch your boobs. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is a bit much for me.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I have friends that are drag queens, both straight and gay. It's not a big deal. It's just like, as I said, it was just, that was surprising to do. It's like, okay, guys, like hands off my butt. And no, it doesn't matter. Just, I don't like my butt being touched by anyone. That's just me.
I can imagine that's weird too in a time of post COVID or still dealing with COVID. In fact, I'm hearing that we're the cases are going back up again and they're like, "Oh, mask up, mask up." I'm sure that like the even the touching feels a little weird now.
Well, this happened before COVID. So, I mean, for me, I've just been kind of like, all diseases, I think for the most part, they will graduate becoming endemic.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there are nasty flus and strains of those, and we're just going to have that of COVID because it's just out in there. But it's just probably going to go and just, not be overall as dangerous it was when it initially was released. The first virulent strains, basically, that
Yeah.
did kill a lot of people. But other than that, it's not something I'm particularly worried about.
And on the subject of COVID, how would you say that your work fared during the lockdown and the pandemic? Do you feel like it did better or it just sort of wavered?
I think it was interesting. Like for cons, it didn't go as much, obviously, because we were shut down and we were stuck in our homes. But when we go into other things, it's kind of interesting how um, now it's like with cons, people are wanting to buy again. But it's interesting because when I did Kickstarters during COVID, I did actually really well. So I think it was like the show that people could watch all the time.
Mhm.
So I think with Kickstarters and crowdfunding, it was actually better because people were kind of bored and didn't know what to do. But now with post COVID, it's like, I'm not saying it was any less, but I think now with cons and stuff, people are more into buying things. I mean, I've had some decent online sales, but for the most part, it's that.
Like here, take my money now that everybody's out and like wanting to associate again.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I did really well at WonderCon. I think just people were happy to just go out and do things again. And I think like even though people are saying, "Oh, there's another strain of COVID," it's kind of like people are like, "Yeah, okay, fine."
Yeah.
Like there's only so much you can, I mean, live your life about it. And I know some people might yell at me about it, but it's like honestly, it's been out for about 2 years. It's had a chance to mutate down, and if you know science at all, like anything that would kill its host outright is not considered a good survivor. And all these things wanted, I mean, I don't think it has a conscious thought, but their purpose is to procreate. And if they kill your host outright, it's not a good organism to have.
Oh yeah. No. And like, I'm curious, did you get COVID at all during the first part of the pandemic?
Really, not really. It was very odd. Like somehow I've skated past that, and I know people can go like, "Well, you need to do all those things." I said, "I didn't do any of those things." I mean, again, it wasn't like I didn't mask up or you know to take precautions. It was just weird because it was stuff I always did, and I just never ended up getting it. But it was very funny how I was. But I did get a pancreatic tumor in 2019, late 2019.
Oh
But that
no.
was, yeah, that was weird. And it was before all that bullshit happened. And what it was is I had been 50 pounds overweight, but I was like losing energy. And it wasn't like I was eating a lot. I was actually exercising, but for some reason I would never lose the weight and I didn't think about it. And then what ended up happening was is that when I took it, when I went and I just would feel sick intermittently and I didn't know why. And then I felt like I had a kidney infection. So I went over to the emergency room. I wasn't falling over dying. I just was like, oh, why do I feel this way? And then they did an ultrasound. I'm like, ow, why does the ultrasound hurt? Like ultrasounds never hurt. It's like you feel it, but it's not big, that
Yeah.
big a deal. Well, what ended up happening is that they said, oh, you have a 6-inch tumor. I'm like,
Oh
what?
wow.
And it was literally like that. They said you have a 6-inch mass first, or it could be your stomach, your pancreas, and your liver. And I'm just like, oh God, I hope it's not my pancreas. Pancreas. Hey Ryan, what's up? So
Ryan joins us. Thank you, Ryan.
nice to see you, Ryan. So yeah, and it had 2 3-inch cysts, and they initially said they thought I had a malignancy because you play the odds, 90 something odd percent, you find a tumor that big, it's gone advanced. But on the other hand, I got the 3 to 5% where it wasn't. It was precancerous, and it was one of those weird ones that attacked Asian and Black women, which was odd.
Oh.
It was random. Like it's a rare one, but it happened. But it happened to me. So they basically went and they basically did endoscopy. They put a thing and they drained it, and it looked like it was fine. And actually, they were happier that it was cystic rather than a solid mass, because if it had been a solid mass, they would have been more concerned that it was cancerous. But they basically took out the head of my pancreas. They rerouted my system, and I'm good now. I dropped 50 some odd pounds. I'm like, and I'm a lot healthier, so that's good.
Congratulations, actually. Like that's quite a weight loss, actually.
Yeah, well, they also said I would get diabetes, and that didn't happen. So, hey, Dad, fuck you.
Right?
Anyway, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, like fuck you. That was twice, but it was weird. Like when George Perez like announced that he had terminal pancreatic cancer. I mean, I will say when I hear that, it does fuck with my brain a little bit, just because if it was just flipped the other way, how that could have turned out. But I don't know. I was flipped this way, so I said, all right, fine. But I just figured I wouldn't get diabetes because that's what they figured I would, and I never ended up getting diabetes.
What did you think of the because I've had the endoscopes a couple times. What did you think of that? It's weird, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I wasn't awake.
Mhm.
But they put this like it looks like a fun. Made me remind me of a ball gag, but it just kept your mouth open.
No.
And then they spray this like licorice. And I hate fucking licorice sometimes, but it's like
Mhm.
you spray this licorice thing so your mouth doesn't dry out, and then they just put you under. And I think you're just so like, and I think
Mhm.
they put, well for me, I think they kind of put me like where I was lying on my side
Yeah.
or something. Even though it was an endoscopy, from what I remember, and then they slid it in, did their needle biopsy and shit, and then they took it out. And I woke up all groggy. They said, "Yep." And the doctor said, "Yep, okay. It looks like it's not cancer, so we're gonna go operate tomorrow." I'm like, okay, you know. And so they did that. And I got to tell you, having your guts rewired as a Whipple procedure is not really good. It's not fun because first comic book you ever read, favorite movie, and why? We'll answer that in a minute. But yeah, it's just like when I woke up, and then they said, "Oh, by the way, you're gonna have to walk." What? Yeah, if you don't walk, you can't eat because they want to make sure the funniest thing is that you have to fart to show that you can do stuff.
You had to fart. I've never had to do that, but
Yeah, apparently, if I didn't pass gas, that means that my system wasn't working, and therefore I could not start eating. So that
oh.
sucked. Yeah, because it's not moving through, and they
Uh-huh.
wanted me to walk. So literally, if you can imagine, I've got all these stitches. I've got 3 drainage tube, 1 feeding tube, 2 drainage tubes, like on me a catheter, and I'm like, fucking shit. I'm not in the mood to walk. Like, I
Yeah.
think for the first 2 days I couldn't because it was just, I was so fucked up. But
Mhm.
then when I got up and I started walking, because they couldn't take me out on the grounds, obviously. So in the recovery unit, I just had to walk around. And it was weird because I did have to be in there for about 1 or 2 weeks. And I will say it kind of fucked with my head. And it's like, man, is this how people feel like when they're dying in a hospital? It like some morbid
Yeah.
shit was going through my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then I recovered at home and I'm good now.
And you really the lightning almost struck twice for you, right? Because it's a rare tumor, and then a rare cyst, and then it's not gonna kill you. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just weird. I mean, as I said, and the first comic book you ever read, favorite
Oh.
movie and why? That's a hard one. I've read a lot of Korean manga. I'm trying to remember as a kid what I read first.
Hmm.
But I've read a lot of stuff in general. I've read Korean manhwa. I've read this is like one of the earlier ones that I've had. I lost the fucking cover because it's old. But I like
Well
oh
loved. Well
yeah,
loved.
this is Baksobong, and it's about a famous scholar in Korea. And then I used to watch anime back in the day and read manga and do all these other things. So it's amazing. It was really cool.
What do you read any comic books now, or anything like that?
Oh God, I kind of do, but I don't because I create my own. And now people go like, "Why?" And I said, "Okay, I'm a creator. I'm doing this shit all the time.
Hmm.
Unless if it's like in my hand, reading it, then I can't. I'm too busy working on this other shit. I'm not trying to be an asshole saying nobody else's stuff is. I mean, if what comics I read a lot of underground, like Johnny Ryan, all this other stuff.
Okay. I mean, because I hear some artists say they don't want to be influenced when they work on things.
That's kind of a hard thing. I don't really take that as that. You're going to get influenced either way. I mean, if you're downright plagiarizing it or tracing it, that's another thing.
Hmm.
But if you're going to get ideas from wherever, I think that's the thing. And I don't think it's bad to get like a copy of that or whatever.
Hmm.
It really isn't.
And to answer his other question, what's your favorite movie?
Oh shit. There's a lot of movies that I've watched and not watched. I'm trying to think. Like sometimes I'll get into these modes of movies that I've liked. Like I did like what is it? I'm trying to think. Fifth Element is always a good classic. I liked Fifth Element. I'm trying to think. I always loved Transformers the movie because that reminded me of school and kid when I was a kid because I like G1 Transformers. I'm a big nerd that way. Um, I'm trying to think. There's other movies that I like, but it's kind of hard because people say, "Oh, what's your favorite movie?" I'm like, I don't really have a favorite movie. I like there's sometimes I get into this mode like I really like Aliens. That was
Hmm.
a fucking cool movie because I think the writing is good. Blade's fun. Blade's a fun movie, and it's so funny. Like when Black Panther came out, all the idiots were going like, Black Panther's the first fucking black superhero. It's like you fucking retard. It's fucking Blade, dude. You
Yeah.
don't know Wesley Snipes? Uh,
Well, he wasn't necessarily canon until like recently, technically.
well, there's different Blades. I think that's the thing. I think,
Hmm.
but I mean, I'm still like kind of like going, okay, no, there's fucking Wesley Snipes. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, I just get kind of annoyed with people like, oh, it's the first. It's like, no, it's not the first, you idiot. Stop. I think Blade is black actually in the
Hmm.
comics, but
Yeah.
I think there's different Ghost Riders. So
Hmm.
there's Robbie Reyes, and then there's Johnny Cage. I think Johnny Cage is not Johnny Cage. I think that's his name. No, Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze. Johnny
Hmm.
Cage, a video game, duh. Johnny Blaze, and then there's a third one, but I forgot which ones. I don't really follow the Ghost Rider all that much. I just followed kind of on the surface level of Robbie Reyes and Johnny Blaze. But yeah, I mean, I actually one superhero I actually really like. If I got into it, sorry, my nose is running allergies. Um, is Psylocke because I like her,
Hmm.
and it's kind of funny because in the comic book world, like you hear people say the dumbest shit, and you're kind of amazed about that. Like just the dumbest shit. Like I seriously, there are times I've walked by and like one guy said, "Oh, Jim Lee, the reason why Psylocke's Asian is that he could only draw Asian women. I'm like, okay, stupid fuck, whatever. It's like, no, just shut up. I mean, I've heard people say, yeah, Todd McFarlane traces. I'm like, what? And they're like, no. And it's like, you mean over his sketches, like over his blue lines? It's like, no, I've seen him trace. I've seen him trace like over people and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving now. Because
Okay.
I mean, I haven't watched the man trace live. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like draw live, but I've seen enough footage of him where he's drawn. It's like, no,
Tracing over his own work.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I've seen him where he's sketched and done stuff, but it's like, okay.
Would you say that the comic books influenced your art in any way growing up?
I would actually study them by copying them as a kid.
Mhm.
So I think when I was a kid, I got into Matt Groening's Life in Hell, and I would copy the characters a lot. Like I draw them, just see if I could do it, and I got that down to it. So it's weird to me, like he's more known for The Simpsons. It's like I grew up on Life in Hell, like the underground shit. There was another one that I used to do that I liked was Real Ghostbusters, and I would kind of copy those. Like I'd study, and when I mean copy, study. Like I'd actually copy to see how it was, and if I could acclimate the style. And obviously, like anime as a kid, manhwa as a kid, just different things as a kid. But I would draw my own stuff too.
Is this what did you always know that you wanted to be an artist, or was there something else you were entertaining as a kid?
I've always wanted to be an artist at some point, but I always thought animation was the way. Then when I actually started doing it, I'm like, oh fuck this, I'm
Yeah.
tired. Like Jesus, it's like 30 seconds and it's this.
Yeah, and over 100 drawings. Of course, I'm sure they don't really do that anymore. But like back in the day, even when I studied in the early 2000s, they were still doing the by hand stuff still.
Yeah, like Cell or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they were just introducing Maya was
Computer.
becoming a thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would watch the animators like, no, thank you.
Yeah, after a while, I was like, oh, fuck this. It's like I
Yeah.
draw all day. It's like, oh, wait, you draw the same shit over and over and it has to be perfect. And you're like, no. But I had always a feeling that I do comics and underground comics, and there you go.
Was there anything else that you wanted to be as a kid? Like, did you ever like, oh, I want to be an astronaut or something?
An ice skater, maybe, but that's
Okay.
about it. I'm not a very good ice skater by any means.
What would you say influenced your art the most?
I don't know. I would say comics, but also cartoons.
Mhm.
Um, I'd say subversive shit, to be
Mhm.
quite frank. So subversive shit. I love doing punk rock. I liked a lot. I mean, I'm not like an asshole and goes like, oh well, I'm gonna go and like just like punk rock and everything like, and like no, I mean, I like punk rock. Punk rock's a fun stuff. Punk rock. Um, I like metal. I like all sorts of music, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Just I do my own thing on that.
Are you do you do music at all?
I like music. I mean, I have some classics. Like I like No Effects, but actually, I kind of really like Linkin Park too and Garbage. So
Mhm.
that's and I'm into the Violent Femmes. I don't know if I'm super heavy goth because I'm like, meh. But the newer bands like the Black Veil Brides or anything by Andy Black is pretty good. Or Andy Bierstack, I guess he's known by many names, but like Black Veil Brides, they've had a few songs that I liked.
Mhm.
When he was Andy Black and sang as Andy Black, he was actually really good.
I think everybody goes through that goth period when they're younger, right? Like even I did
Well,
that.
I'm kind of doing the goth period, I think, right
Yeah.
now. I don't know. It's just the clothes are fucking cool. And like back in the day when I was younger, it was like the clothes you would pay so much for, but it would
Mhm.
like you'd have to go to the actual fucking fetish shops and shit, or you'd have to go to Hot Topic where it was super expensive, but it was a piece of shit at the time. I mean, Hot Topic's
Mhm.
better their their merchandising, but back in the day when it came out, it was just like shitty. Like you could kind of
Plastic
tell
crap.
it
It
wasn't
was
that bad, but it was like you could tell like if you look at a velvet coat, it's like kind of fucked up or something.
Oh, the really small seam where if you even pull on it, it would rip a little bit. And they
It was just like the craftsmanship wasn't there
yeah.
either.
And
Yeah.
they had the tiny sizes. There was always that. Do you remember? There was like always tiny sizes, and you're like I had to you had to like really look to like find like a normal person size.
Right? It's just like, as I said, I kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of in the goth clothes now, but it's kind of funny because people say, "Oh, so you like black because of this?" I said, "Actually, it's more hygienic because I hate white because it tends to discolor, and if you spill shit on yourself and you don't clean it right, you look like shit."
Everyone looks good in black though. I think. I think.
Mm.
I
Yeah, I mean, black's kind of a hard color to fucking screw up,
yeah.
personally.
It's slimming. It's slimming.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, being a theater kid too, you tend to wear black a lot, and kind of find yourself accidentally wearing black. I think after I quit film school, I I was like, no more black ever. Oh, that was fruitless. Um, uh, so we'll talk a little bit about your art too, which is I'm grabbing my book, Demon Bitch.
Mhm.
When would you say you really got started? Nobody wakes up and just goes, "I'm gonna make a comic book today."
I think I hated some people, and especially some women. And I know
Mhm,
people go like, "Oh, that's fucked up." I'm like, no, there were some women that were horrible fucking people. So I decided to make fun of them and just do it.
mhm.
And it's kind of funny because like I've had fucking people like come out of nowhere and say, "Oh, that's about me, right?" I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" I have nothing. I don't even know. Like sometimes like I was very genuinely confused, and one person I knew said, "Just say that, like, okay, so you think you're this funny looking fucked up thing? Okay, if you want to own that, fine. You know, you want to say it's you, go ahead. You know." I mean, I had
I
people.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 it's fine.
Uh, I was curious about that too because there are stories in here, like there's pictures of like drinks, and it's like that was the moment her life was ruined. Um, and just all sorts of stuff. I'm curious, is it drawn from real life? Because people are asking you, is it it's about me, right? You know, is it are those stories drawn from real life, or sometimes you just like start typing something up because they're
It's a
uh
mixture of both. I think like with any creator, you get into that. You know,
mhm,
and for me, I personally think that it's the best way. I mean, as I said, as the person is not, their likeness is not on there, their things are not on there. You know, I mean, there are sometimes I've recycled some characters, not recycled characters. What can I say? You know, revolved characters around, and you know, I've used them. You know, like years ago, and then like I said, oh, I'll just bring this one up back again.
mhm.
You know,
'Cause I was yeah because it's both text and drawing.
yeah.
Uh, your style, was it? Is that a certain style for you that you really lean on? Because I noticed that there was other styles that you have used. Looking at your Instagram, is that a style that you really lean on when you're like say doodling or?
Well, I think I just kind of draw. That's pretty
Mhm,
much it. Whatever I feel, and that should be
mhm,
it.
mhm. Okay.
It's just like it's weird. It's just I kind of just do that.
What are the can we talk a little bit about the characters that play prominently in your stories?
Well, my characters. Which ones?
Any of them that you want to talk about.
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of them. Demon Bitch is just basically a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell, where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid.
Mhm,
Honestly, I met a lot of chicks like that in fucking LA.
mhm,
They were idiots, and I
mhm,
didn't like them because they just were users, pieces of shit, and they were drug addicts, and they were the drug addicts of the worst drugs ever. I mean, and I know people go like, "That's not fair, drug addicts." I think there's good and bad people that are drug addicts, but a lot of these girls were assholes. Like I just didn't
mhm,
like them, and they were users. I mean, they used me, they used other people. Like unfortunately, those girls are nothing special. They're like a dime a dozen,
mhm,
and they pretty much acted all the same. But then they would do this thing like they would try to shame you of stuff that you did, which was stupid.
mhm,
And then after a while, and they would kind of get away from it because get away with it, not because like there's no sense of justice, but
mhm,
people get mad. People were like, "Oh well, never mind." just some other sap will deal with it. It's like, okay, you really need to hold people like this accountable, like at some
Yeah.
point. And like I've had the stupid thing where I've been fucked over by people, and then they go like, oh well, you're this terrible person, da 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 da, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Hmm. When you look at your previous work, do you go like, oh yeah, I remember that person that it's about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mixture of people. I mean, sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it starts off about a person, and then it's just like, wait, this character kind of evolves into many people. So
Mhm.
it's sort of like, I don't give a shit, sort of thing. And again, like some other people get mad about it and they get like pissed off that, oh, it could be them. It's like, I don't even know you. Who the fuck you are? Like one time there was this one lady, she thought Demon Bitch was about her. I had no fucking idea what the hell that was about. Like literally, I never met this person. And this person had like that sock puppeted account with like the thing. It was some weird ass name. And she was leaving me voice messages, which was very fucking weird. And I was like, okay. And she was even saying, but they were kind of incoherent. So I didn't know what. And then she was showing me random like screenshot things of Demon Bitch. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? And she was like, I was like, okay. Like, I didn't get what the fuck that was about. And I'm just kind of looking back. I still can't make sense of it. It really made like, then she started going on my page and then started going on my posts and like literally rambling and yelling at me about how I was telling everybody she had herpes. I'm like, bitch, I don't even know who you are. And talking about her fucked up ex husband and swinging and crap. I mean, like, this is what I could determine because this shit, like, this bitch, like, rambled on. And then she started like attacking random people like that I knew on that were commenting. So I went ahead and I just blocked her, right? And then she would sock puppet again and do it again. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I ended up blocking one person and it mysteriously stopped. So that was interesting.
Do you have to mod on your stuff a lot?
Not really. Actually, most of my stuff, like people behave. It's just when
Mhm.
you have shit like that that's like rambling or weird. And like, okay. Like, I mean, as I said, if you're attacking, and she was even trying to like low key dox me, which is hilarious. Like she was saying, "This is you," and it's Christie Wynn. I'm like, you stupid bitch. My name's up on my Facebook. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was about.
How often do you have people that see themselves in your comics? I'm kind of curious.
I mean, it's been happened a few times before that I know of, but I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of like not really into all that crap. Like it's like if people think it is, like I mean, I've had many people like say, "Oh, it's this one and that one, this one and that one. Oh, this reminds me of this person." I'm like, sure, okay.
Yeah.
I never met them, but sure. But it's like it's more of personality tropes and types and
Hmm.
what I've just seen and heard from people.
Hmm. I mean, if the shoe fits, right?
It's just like I've had people like tell me some crazy shit, and like I'm just thinking, was this bitch homeless or something?
Hmm.
I mean, it just seems like the ludicrous shit that I've ever had to deal with, and I'm just like, okay, well, whatever.
And they just hop on your social media and they try
It
and.
happens a lot less than what people think. I mean, it's
Mhm.
weird. It's like every so often I'll get somebody, like one person thought it was her, and she told me to go get fucked by a blender, and I'm like, okay, I guess that hurts my feelings. Actually, it doesn't, but whatever. So my friend Don Wynn like drew a picture of like her. I think it's in that book actually of her like straddling in a blender. That was
Oh yeah.
he did that one. So it's like that was funny, and I was just like, yeah. Oh, ink. That's ink.
Oh, in fact, I think I'm on the page. I'm gonna. You know
Yeah,
what? If YouTube gets mad at me, YouTube gets mad at me. Let's see. I'm gonna hold it up a little bit. It's this photo.
yeah,
I remember like looking at these and going, "Wow, some of them are graphic."
yeah. Some of them are pretty bad. Like it's like I was just laughing about it because it was just like, all right, you're that upset, whatever. Your
Hmm.
name's not on it. Fuck you. Who cares?
So, is it ever sometimes where do you have like a stuff that you hold back? Where you're like, no, I can't post that right now.
Well, I try not to post anything confidential. That's it. Like I try to post enough in my life that I've dealt with because it's just out of respect to people. I don't like doing that. But if I see something like particularly stupid, I'll have to comment on it. Like I've seen people like say, "Oh, maybe someone should go and take DMT and talk to the coronavirus." I'm like, "You are a fucking dumbass." I have to put that in a comment. You know,
There
any
were
and any upcoming convention memories that stand out. I think every one of them is pretty classic or whatnot. You know.
I do have to compliment you because you put the back of your book shitty sketches. I love that because it's sort of like I can do better than this, really.
Yeah, but I don't care enough to. Like, even one of the selling points of the Kickstarter was, I'm going to personally deface your shit.
Hmm.
And then Ryan permission any upcoming convention appearances. And I'm just like, yeah, I am. I'm going to QCon and I'm going to Silver Age this upcoming Saturday.
In fact, I will post. I'll put in your link tree, um, and the link to Silver Age, if
Mhm.
anyone wants to come see you.
Yeah.
Technically, we do this at the end, but I'll put in the comments if it posts. Uh, there we go.
We,
Um, if anyone wants to check out the your links, um, yeah, back to the oh, he is commenting. Fair to say, Chrissy is blunt. Yeah, very blunt. Um, but I love it. Like it's. I have to compliment you. It's refreshing. I think
mhm,
because you do see a lot of. You live in, of course, L.A.
mhm.
And you do see a lot of people that will like smile in your face and stab you in the back, right?
I mean, there are people like that. I don't know if I'd like to go into the whole thing like, oh, it's the LA world, because there's like actually plenty of decent people in the
Oh,
LA world.
very
But there
nice.
are people that do exist like that. I mean, you do have to kind of watch yourself sometimes, but at the same time, if you know who your friends are, it's fine.
Oh, there. Don't get me wrong. There's super sweet people that I meet all the time. Where I love them. And hi, Ryan. Speaking of, uh, let's see. Oh, cat alert. What's its name? Is what he's
Oh, this
asking.
is ink. That's what she's,
Ink.
look, she's put her head underneath that. I don't know what the fuck she's doing right now. So if
Oh,
you hear purring, because she stuck her head underneath, she just like wants to put her head on the fuzzy ball. Yes, I
oh,
know. She took her head off.
how old is she?
She is wow, she's about 6 now, I think.
Oh,
Got a big ass.
she's what's the story behind Ink? How'd you adopt her?
She actually, there was a lesbian couple that actually had a cat,
Mhm.
and she gave birth to babies, and she's the only girl out of a litter of boys. So there were
Oh,
2 big black boys and I think 2 ginger boys, and she was the youngest. And she's feisty because she had a bunch of brothers.
who doesn't grow up feisty around boys? Um, what is your writing process like? Is what Ryan is asking. Do you need silence? Do you listen to music?
Oh boy, if it's demon bitch, I just kind of do whatever. But if it's kind of like it kind of depends. Like I'll just probably have some videos playing in the background, but overall, it's that. You know,
Mhm. You is there any particular genre that you listen to?
I would say I don't know honestly. Sometimes I'll listen to one song over and over again. That's what I do sometimes.
Hmm.
So I kind of like it. I'm kind of weird that way. I like listen to a song that'll be in my head for a while I write, or sometimes it's just I'll be playing videos. It depends on like how much I'm writing, you know.
Mhm.
So if it's like a writing like like a whole graphic novel of one story, sure. But if it's not, then it's something else.
Veronica's show. Sorry, not sorry for the questions. Like, no, please, everybody comment, and even after the show's over, please comment. I will show Christy anything that is left over if you don't mind. If you have any more questions, guys. Um, in fact, I'm looking even more through this. I love the back of it. That's shit fans have said.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I like writing shit like that because I like to get people involved. But
Mhm,
I mean, that's the thing. If you don't involve them in the work, and I mean, some of my fans are friends.
mhm.
So.
I'm like I love this book. So what are you working on anything particular right now? Because I know that you have a Kickstarter up.
Well, I had one, and I passed that. That actually funded on 5/9. And
Congratulations.
so, like, I actually ordered the. So the update is that I ordered a lot of stuff for the thing, but I just wanted stuff for KDP to clear up because they were fucking pissing me off with their bullshit.
Mhm.
So it's like right now I'm taking stock of stuff, and I had to like take care of other things too. So, but that will be addressed soon. So I'm going to wait a couple of days, and then I'm going to take care of the books and order them, and hopefully I'll get them in time for also San Diego Comic Con. Now, if anybody has ordered books from me, and when I have a much more accurate date, because it's not just the money, it was also like with that I was waiting for from the Kickstarter, but I was also waiting for these fuckers to like, like KDP had fucked up an order of mine earlier, and I was going to use that to replenish everything else, and they
Mhm.
fucking didn't. It was just one of those things that fucking was annoying. And what they ended up doing was is that it was just, it just fucking made me want to nerd rage, really. So it was like they were going back and forth on a fuck up they did with a book that printed well before, and then they said, "Well, we're not going to help you. It's just like it's all your fault." I'm like, "Okay, fuck you." So I returned the books anyway.
Huh.
I'm like,
So
they were
explain more
just,
about that.
huh?
So explain more about that. Like they screwed up on a book.
Yeah, this is not the print run that got fucked up, but what ended up happening was this is the book in question right here. So what happened? So this was printed in 2019, but the strips I think go back to 2018. So right here, like this is supposed to be normal, like this, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine that they shoved everything up, and they fucked up the printing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So they blamed you.
Yeah, they blamed me, and it was like okay, and I went back and forth, and then I said, "Well, we're not going to go and help you." I'm like, "All right, you stupid assholes, whatever." And so I returned the books. So I'm just going to reprint it and stuff. And but I was going to wait a little bit and reprint it with all the other stuff,
Okay.
one batch. So I'm waiting on that, like to kind of clear out, because also I want to see if the frickin' Amazon shit, like the delivery stabilizes out, because sometimes they're late, sometimes they're not,
Okay.
and they've been a little bit late more than late, but they've been kind of on time about other things.
So hopefully, people get their books soon. And
Yeah.
you will be. Will you have copies with you at the cons?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. It's like as I said, I was replenishing this one because I'd almost sold out of it. And then so I replenished a bunch of other books, and I know some people were actually getting stuff like they wanted to have all the books. So I bought a bunch of books to help replenish that too.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't have your books and you want one, come and see her at the cons,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to get them hopefully signed, and at the same time meet you
Well,
and.
they should be signed. As I said, I'm trying to fulfill all the Kickstarter ones first, but I'm
Mhm.
ordering all the stuff first for it. I mean, these are older books, so I'll be definitely selling them at cons. But right now, it's just I wanted to kind of get more of a load in and stuff.
Very cool. Oh, Ryan wants to know who your celebrity crush is.
I would say, fuck, what's his name? Russell Crowe. I'd say he's pretty hot. Like him. Yeah, he's pretty good looking. I don't know about any other ones really. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Like, there are guys that are cute enough, but I just don't really crush on really too many guys, honestly. Like, people are like, oh, Jason Momoa. It's like, he's a good looking guy, but I don't really have anything for him.
So not if thank you for joining Kyber Cave in the house. Welcome, Van. Sorry I'm late. When you say cons, are you local to NoCal?
No, SoCal.
SoCal.
I'm Los Angeles. But I go to NoCal. Apparently, I'm going to NorCal a lot. Um, right now, I'm going to Reno, and I'm trying to think of the next one. Let me take a look. Appearances. Well, I'm looking at there's QCon. So I have two of San Diego Comic Con in LA, but I might be going to NorCal. But that's on my main website of appearances. So
Mhm.
take a look at that.
I mean, you will be in Silver Age. And what was the other one? The QCon? Where is that one located?
QCon is in West LA. I mean, not
West
West LA.
LA. Okay.
West. I think West LA. Let me look at QCon. Hold on. Sorry, it's no offense to anybody. I'm not. It's not that I'm not paying attention to the
Oh,
freaking con. It's West Hollywood.
oh, even I have to do that. Or like, I'm like, where am I going?
Yeah, it's just like, oh shit, what do I have to do? So yeah, it's West Hollywood. So
Okay.
the week after this next week, I will be in QCon. I'll be there. I think I might have my own table or a caps table. I have to double check, but I think I'll be there and with my own table. But
And
as I
then
said, it's like I've been kind of overwhelmed since May, so I'm kind of burnt out. So I will also release a Kickstarter update regarding the updated books as well.
let me know if you are in our general vicinity. I'll post it on the website, and if anyone wants to come see you, that's because I have a lot of NorCal uh friends and followers that are on this page.
Oh,
So
cool.
let me know, and we'll come in and support you and say hi.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Here, and this is like where I usually put up my con appearances.
Mhm.
Last month I was really bad about it because I was just like so busy. I had Asian invasion and all that other shit. But there you go. That's like appearances in general. So you guys can go and keep touch. It's I usually try. I'm pretty good at updating it. So if I need to, there you go.
And I'll post that in the comments right now. Um, if anyone has any as it loads, if anyone has any questions, please, Ryan, you've been really good about asking the questions. Uh, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. We'll answer them. We've got a little. Oh wait, an error occurred. Um, I will post it, all of your stuff underneath the channel at the end of the show too. Um, as for your work, I'm blanking on the question I was going to ask. As for your work, what really made you, and I know I've been asking about your style, but what really made you go like, okay, I want to have like a nondescript character? Was it because you were sort of like, I just want these different characters? Because like the demon bitch, what inspired, sorry, what inspired the demon bitch as far as that style that you use?
I think, I just kind of drew it with such hate and contempt that it didn't really kind of matter. I just kind of imagined this character as something. They all come out and sort of evolve as their own person.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Do you tend to draw in a angry mood or a good mood or everything
Oh,
under the
it's
sun?
ranged from like angry to good to assholish mood. Just like I'll just draw it and I'm just like in a fucking irritating mood. Irritate like even if I'm irritated, I'll do it.
Mhm.
Or like a thought will pop into my head and I'm like, oh man, this is bad, and I'll just do that.
Is it the like, oh, that's not nice, but I have to draw it?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it. Oh, by the way, Van Gogh, I actually did have a reward. Draw a digital like bad date with demon bitch.
I didn't see that one. I'm wondering if it's in a different.
I
Did
mean,
I
I
miss
think
it?
I can
Is it?
still order it. It's a digital reward. So
Oh,
yeah, it was on this Kickstarter. But if people want to still do it, it's fine.
ooh, okay. So, check out the Kickstarters if you want those kind of rewards. Van's laughing.
I mean, again,
Um,
you can't order it directly, but it's like I probably should add that onto there.
Very cool. Are you planning on doing any more Kickstarters in the near future?
Oh, I probably will. Maybe later on this year. I have a tarot deck called Murder Ballads, and I have Sepulchre too, but I haven't started on Sepulchre too because I've been fucking busy. But it'll probably be in the later part of the year.
You have a tarot deck?
Yeah, I have two. I have the shitty tarot deck, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that up here with me. But then I also have the thing with I did another deck called Murder Ballads,
Mm-hmm.
but I have not constructed it together.
Sorry I'm late. So this may have been asked already, but did you follow any comic artists when you were young, and do you follow anyone now? We kind of covered that, but if you want to reiterate.
Well, I followed the comic artist when I was young. I'd say Matt
Mhm.
Groening, Adam Warren. I followed a lot. Uh, I'm trying to think. I mean, I like Jim Lee, and
Mhm.
I've actually followed Rob Liefeld on Instagram. Johnny Ryan.
Mhm.
Actually, I think Johnny Ryan's dead on Instagram because his shit is so offensive. And there's Simon Hanselman. He's pretty good too.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Very nice. Uh, and let's see. I'm like flipping through this book too. Uh oh, you can also buy apparel. That one's interesting.
Yeah, I have the Asian invasion apparel and stuff.
Asian Invasion. That is a really cool name. And then also you have a and like your Patreon. What does that entail? Like what does everybody get with the Patreon
It's
every week?
it's a digital subscription kind of thing where I do an art dump depending on which tier it is, and you have access to different digital rewards.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like whatever about it, but if you want to support it, have fun.
Okay.
Mhm.
You did mention earlier because there was a lot of mention of 2019. Um so once 2020 hit, do you feel like during the pandemic you got a lot of work done or you were like no?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I had my moments where I kind of didn't do anything, but I was just like whatever about it.
Mhm.
So,
Was for interaction because I'm assuming there was like less interaction for or did you just like I'm gonna do these storylines. I've already got this material already because we're all like separated, right?
yeah, well, I mean, it's online interactions. I think that online interactions were a bit more meaningful, but
Hmm.
it was a different sort, and now people are like doing really good about that right there.
Oh, did the online interaction um inspire anything?
Not so much. They kind of just, it's like more interactive, but then I think because people really didn't have that much to do, in that sense. They were all stuck at home, or if they went out, like they could only have very small friend groups. I mean, I did that. That kept me sane. It was either that or fucking going on Facebook and watching people fucking lose their shit. I mean, that was amazing.
What was that like? What was that lockdown like for you?
It was interesting. I'd say that it was interesting because it was like I was caught in my own little fishbowl, but I felt I could swim freely like a little fish because it was kind of my world anyway. But at the same time, it's like it was, and I already went through a pancreatic tumor, so
Mhm.
it sort of like did that.
Oh, so you were still healing as it started.
Yeah, I was cleared after my operation to do stuff, but I felt like it gave me the rest that I needed to kind of fully recover and just recuperate at my own pace.
Oh, okay. Uh, and John D. Michaels, thank you. By the way, I don't know if John D. Michaels is from Squid Games. So thank you, John, by the way, for joining us.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah. Let me know, like I said, if you guys have any questions. Um, as far as well, I mean, we've already talked about the cons, but as far as is there any other appearances other than the cons that is coming up for you?
I just know I'm not going to be at San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Are you excited about it? Have you ever been to the San Diego Comic Con?
Oh, I've been there like 4 or 5 times. So yeah, no, I have. I am just, that's a whole monster in itself when you bend. But it's kind of amazing because like I'm on 2 panels now, which is kind of insane. Yeah.
Which which
Well,
panels?
I can't get into detail
Oh,
because
okay.
San Diego Comic Con gets a little salty if you post any information that was you basically can't go and post any information unless it's finalized and approved by San Diego. Like you can say, "Oh, I'm approved," but since the rooms are kind of like iffy and they need to shuffle them around, there you go.
Oh, too early then for them.
Yeah, it's too early. Like it's not good right
Oh,
now, but it will be with Don Wynn, the mobile workspace, and then like the fake or not fake, like actual comic heroes or events, uh, with another individual as well. I mean, I'm kind of tired, so it's like I have to look at the thing, but yeah, but I mean, I'll release that information when that time comes. It's just right now they're kind of a little salty, so I have to be a bit vague.
okay. I totally get that one. A lot of not so much NDAs, but sort of like
Yeah, I'll have to post it on my my website when it's done. I mean, it's not like, as I said, it's not that I don't want to disclose it. It's just can't right now.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and please do let me know because I'll post that as well, and hopefully updates as the shows goes on, I'm hopefully have you back, and we can talk about what you've been doing maybe over the summer after all the cons, because
Mhm.
cons tend to get a little quiet during the winter time. Um, so hopefully we'll have you back around that time, and we'll kind of talk about what you've been up to. Thank
Yes.
you so much for. Oh, there's another
That's
cutie.
Spam. She's
Spam.
here. Yeah.
His name is Spam.
Yeah. Hey, little butthole, what's up?
Like
Ow! I love stepping on my stomach.
he wants to be famous too for a minute.
He's also a little noodle fuck. That's the thing.
How old is he?
He is 7, I believe.
Oh,
He
I'm.
doesn't really properly meow. He kind of irks.
He irks. Like
Irk, irk.
okay,
Yeah.
irk irk.
Hmm.
Orange kitties. I think I've heard make different noises, or a little different than most cats. I had one.
Well, it's kind of funny. I know a woman, I know another artist. She has an orange cat, and she used to have a black cat named Kosaka, but he passed away, unfortunately, due to age and renal failure. But she has like a orange cat named Max, a ginger. It's kind of funny. We were talking. It's like how our cats are like little assholes.
Oh
It's like
yeah,
they're just little assholes, the gingers, but they're sweet. But we don't know if they're real cats or minerals.
yeah. No, I had an orange cat. He lived to be about 20. He just passed away, and
Oh,
I don't know what it is. I hear that orange cats are just different. They're I don't know, a little smarter. He used to when my husband and I argued, he used to pee on my stuff, or whoever he thought was right. Or we had this theory that whoever he thought was right, because it would be my stuff or sometimes my husband's stuff, and like he's just taking sides. He's peeing on.
yeah, pretty much.
I think they're just smart. That's all. They're like little humans inside of kitty bodies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every kitty just wants to show off their buttholes when a cam is around. I mean, he might have a cam job. Who knows?
There you go. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Thank you so much for doing this interview.
Yeah,
Uh, I had so much fun. Please keep me updated what you're doing, and I hopefully you have a really good time with QCon and with Silver Age, which is this weekend.
only
Oh,
cats.
only cats. That's horrible. Uh, we have an orange female or orange tabby too. Yeah, I mean they're adorable. I hope you have a really good time with Silver Age, which is this weekend, and then
Yeah,
QCon is the weekend after.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, and then I will post your links. Is there any other things that you want to plug at all?
Pretty much those are it right now. I guess if you want to get stuff at the store, order it. If you want to go and get stuff over at that, if you want to commission me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
down for it. You can go ahead and email me on that. If I don't answer back right away, I'm not ignoring you. Gmail is being an asshole. So sorry
So
about that.
so you do take commissions?
I do take commissions. Yeah, it's kind of weird because like I've always put it out there, but like nobody bites it, and they go like, "Oh, do you take commissions?" I'm like, "Yes, I put it up there." You know, I don't know what it is, but yeah,
What do you what have you ever gotten a commission?
I do have. Yeah, I have. It's
Uh,
weird because it's like I think I'm known more for my books than commissions, but maybe sketches too. So
okay.
yeah, I have it out there, but they prefer to buy my merchandise, which is funny.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested. I'll be scouring your site and seeing what else you post. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're joined by, and if you guys are late, this is Christie Shinn. Please check out the rest of our video if you're late,
Mhm.
and like and share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you again soon on the show. And this is our first interview, so thank you so much for being part of it. You guys have been watching Nerdalist, and I'm grabbing my. You have been watching Nerdalist, and hopefully have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right.